Time travel has been the subject of many a great work of science fiction, from classic literature like Rip Van Winkle to contemporary examples like Harry Potter and the Avengers. The concept of time travel is one of the most explored concepts in popular fiction. From paradoxes, alternative universes, butterfly ripples, time loops, slips, and even time tourism, time travel is an abstraction that has been conceptualized in nearly every imaginable asset possibly dreamed up by the human imagination. It is a popular topic for conversation, as you've probably been asked at some point, if you could go back in time, which era would you go? What would you do? As the saying goes, sometimes fact is stranger than fiction. And some amongst us believe that time travel is more than just fantasy. They are convinced that it is real and an achievable feat. That's why, in today's video, we're going to be exploring the most convincing examples of evidence for time travel. One of the most popular internet trends in recent years has been the exploration of old photographs in search of people who look like they don't quite belong. They stick out like a sore thumb for one reason only. They look like they are from the modern era, despite being in a photograph that was supposedly taken many years ago. A notable example of this is the time-traveling hipster, describing a man who looks like he's fresh out of a chic coffee shop in Dumbo, Brooklyn, in the modern day in a crowd of conservatively dressed people in 1940s America. The picture is dated in 1941, but the man's aesthetic is contemporary. Other examples of this trend include celebrity doppelgangers, such as an uncanny resemblance between rap mogul Jay-Z and a man photographed in the early 1900s. This has led some to believe that mega-wealthy celebrities have become privy to the luxury of time traveling, living out real-life time travel tourism that us simple folk simply can't afford. The trend goes beyond people, though, as objects have been pointed to as evidence of some sort of time warp. Take, for example, an outtake from a 1928 Charlie Chaplin film in which a woman appears to be talking on what could only be a cellular device. There doesn't seem to be a plausible reason for her to be acting and gesturing the way she did, perfectly mimicking how a person in 2020 might carry out a conversation on a cell phone. This conundrum is replicated in a 1948 film in which a man appears to be holding something that bears an uncanny likeliness with an iPhone. There's also a 19th century photo circulating the internet with a group of people gathered around an object that appears to be a CD. Many brush this off as a coincidence, trying to rationalize it as just some old-timey object that we can't identify. However, others believe this is convincing proof that time travel exists. Now, popular trends are one thing, but what do the scientists have to say? Well, recent revelations in science show that time travel may be more than just mere fantasy. Gary T. Horowitz, a professor of physics at the University of California at Santa Barbara, made a statement that put things into perspective. He stated that, perhaps surprisingly, this turns out to be a subtle question. It is not ruled out by our current laws of nature. Recent investigations into this question have provided some evidence that the answer is no, but it has not yet been proven to be impossible. Even the slightest whiff of the possibility is enough to excite both lay people and scientists alike. One of the leading experts in the field is William A. Hiscock, another professor of physics from Montana State University, shared that, to answer this question, we must be a bit more specific about what we mean by traveling through time. Discounting the everyday progression of time, the question can be divided into two parts. Is it possible within a short time to travel into the distant future? And is it possible to travel into the past? You may be surprised that he states that the answer to the first half of the question is a definite yes, and to the latter half of the question, a resounding maybe. Of course, that leaves one to wonder, how? Well, it comes down to the concept of special relativity, which states that a moving clock appears to operate slower the closer it gets to reaching the speed of light. Theoretically, if you could travel at a constant rate of 1 g, you'd eventually reach the speed of light. If you took a journey at this speed to the center of the Milky Way and back to Earth, the adventurer would have only aged about 40 years. But 60,000 years would have passed on Earth. What do you guys think of time travel? Will we ever unlock its secret? Or is it merely a tool for the imaginative to use in their creative works of fiction? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe to see similar content in the future. Thanks for watching!
Listen!